The ESPN team are in Valencia, ahead of Valencia against Barcelona. Let's hear from them now as Kay is joined by Macca and Luis.
Yes, thanks, Dan. There was an absolutely gorgeous view behind us, but you can't see us now because it's pretty dark here. But I can promise you it was. Macca and Luis Garcia here. Lots to talk about with that game tomorrow at Mestalla between Valencia and Barcelona. Starting with the fact, Luis, that they're going to have to put on a good showing because, OK, the Joan Gamper Trophy is seen as a pre-season friendly, but to lose 3-0 at home to Monaco wasn't the best image for the club. Tomorrow's a chance to put it right.
Okay, I consider a trophy. I got it back in 2003, so I consider a trophy. All counts. No, of course. I think that right now for Barcelona, they did a good job during the preseason. We saw a good team, even though you don't have all the players ready, but the young players that were involved did a good performance. You could see a little bit what Hansi Flick wants from this Barcelona: intensity, energy up front, and possession. We are passing from the possession-wise team that we all like to a more energetic. He said it from the first minute. We want a team that can have that transition, they can have that energy up front, and they need to work on the fitness level. But no, against Monaco, I think it wasn't the best game. I think that it wasn't what we expect from Barcelona, so they need to get a good result, to put a good show, to get that confidence back and see that this Barcelona can challenge for La Liga.
Now, speaking of fitness levels, we were all wondering if we'd be seeing Dani Olmo, obviously with the registration issues, but Hansi Flick's come out in the press conference and said that he's got hamstring issues, so he won't be featuring.
We all believe him, don't we?
It's a strange, you told me it's a strange situation. What does this mean?
Well, we've heard it all before, haven't we, in failure to register players on time. Will he, won't he? Listen, he's got a hamstring injury. We have to believe him. And it's a big blow for Barcelona, where they need a little bit of impotence, where they need a bit of good PR with the injury to Gavi, with Pedri being struggling as well, Frankie de Jong. They're very, very light in the middle of the park, aren't they? And that's a major issue when you're away from home in the first game of La Liga, because if you lose, albeit how you lose, it instantly puts pressure on the team, and it'll put pressure on Hansi Flick, and it'll put pressure on the players, because that's what Barcelona is all about.
Mestalla is not an easy place to go for the opening game of the season. You guys know.
No, it's not. It's not the atmosphere they create. They are back in the team. Once again, they had a lot of issues to sign players. That they cannot allow to sign play, or they are not allowed to sign play if they don't let some youngsters leave. All about Javi Guerra also leaving maybe to Atletico Madrid. So it's been a lot of talks again. So Rubén Baraja has got a lot of problems to put a good performance against Barcelona, but a very difficult game tomorrow.
Very difficult game, very difficult season ahead. It could be, or could it? You can tell us your season predictions now, Macca. Everyone else has had to do theirs. First through 4.
Yeah, well, I was quite boring, really, quite mundane. I've gone for Real Madrid after what they've done last year, and of course their additions. I did fancy, even though Atletico Madrid have spent a lot of money, I did fancy Barcelona to finish second. Then Atletico with their new additions, and hopefully there's still more transfer activity to go. And then I'm going for Athletic Club. I think keeping hold of Nico Williams was a big coup for them, and I think they'll finish fourth.
Thank you very much. As if by magic, Robbo has taken the place of Macca and Luis now. Jules still with us. Jules, Dani Olmo hasn't got a hamstring injury. He can't play because he hasn't been registered. What do Barcelona have to do to get this done?
They need to make space in their wage bill to start with, Dan, and then they have to sell players. There's clearly, which is not something new. I mean, last summer we were in the same place, explaining the same thing. The summer before, the same. They don't have the room in their wage bill and in their finances right now to be able to spend 60 million on somebody like Dani Olmo plus the wages and just be okay with La Liga's financial fair play rules. This is it. They know it. So they can give him contracts, but then when the contract is sent from Barcelona to La Liga headquarters, then La Liga are looking at the accounts and saying, okay, this is great, Dani Olmo is signed at the bottom of the paper, but right now you just don't have the space in your wage bill and in your financial structure, let's put it that way, to register him. It's as simple as that. So maybe someone like, I don't know, let's say Eric Garcia can leave. Maybe somebody like Rafinha can leave. Maybe Ferran Torres can leave, so they can make a bit of money, make some room in the wage bill, and then be able to register someone like Dani Olmo. But he's not the only one. Inigo Martinez. When you have Araujo who is injured, when you have problems at the back, Christensen has to play in midfield as well. You need centre backs, and Inigo Martinez right now cannot play either. So, they were struggling to register him. So there's been a few issues, which is not new, and usually they find a way. But it looks like again this summer the way will happen if they sell players.
Jules, I know you're not the man who needs to answer this. It should be Barcelona and Joan Laporta. But how can they keep getting in to this same predicament every single season?
I mean, really, to be able to sign players with no issue financially, they would need to be in a much stronger position than what they are right now. That's the problem. So they can still sign players. This is not a problem. Dani Olmo, they can sign him. They can go and get, I don't know, Nico Williams if they want. The thing is, once you add up the transfer fee and the wages into their finances, basically, into their accounts, then La Liga look at it, and with La Liga very strict, to be fair to them, financial fair play rules, they're saying, hang on, we told you that your wage bill could be that big, and right now the Dani Olmo wages can't fit in. They don't fit. There's not enough room there. So then Barca say, okay, no problem, we'll work on it. And then they do, either they sell some chunks of the club, as we saw, all those levers that we saw in the past, or they just find a club for Rafinha, for Ferran Torres, for Eric Garcia, for others, Araujo, whoever they want. And then they go back to La Liga saying, look, now we've saved that much in wages because we saw X and Y. And also we sold X and Y to this club, and we made 50 million, 20 million, 30 million, whatever, which can then get into the finances. It's a very complicated context. I understand that. And for the fans, it must be quite difficult because you're just wondering, like you said, Dan, when is this going to end? You know, we look at other clubs like Atletico Madrid, like Real Madrid, who can just spend 80 million there, 50 million there with no problems and register players with no issues. And for Barcelona, it's very much more difficult. But this is because of all the terrible accounting that they did before, from Bartomeu to obviously Laporta as well, first stint and start of second stint. That's the only reason why they're in this position.
They've got a lot of good attacking players, haven't they?
Yeah, well, that can play.
Have you ever thought about sitting down and going, where was one of our most problematic areas last year?
Yeah.
Not only was it their defence and some of their players who lost form and were injured, and the young 16-year-old Kubasi had to come in and did very well. Jules mentioned it, they had to play Andres Christensen in midfield. Frankie de Jong got injured, but I don't think he's a holding midfielder. He can play there, he gets the ball from the back, but he's certainly no Rodri. And you need that player that can read the game. And one of the reasons they went through that period, you remember when Xavi lost it and he's that's it, I'm out of here.
Yep.
Because every team that went to the Montjuic were taking them apart. I mean, they lost something like 20, 22 goals in 4 or 5 games. It was crazy. And that wasn't only down to a poor back line. It was down to the fact that the balance in front of that back line was awful. Christensen went in there, they tried Gundogan back there, which doesn't work, because that's not the kind of player he is. And so they have all these good players. Pedri, when he's fit, he's not a defensive midfielder. Gavi, no. So it's like they're bringing in good players, and I get it, Dani Olmo is a good player, apart from the registering problems. It's not going to solve, unless they're just going to play the old we'll outscore you routine, which never really ends well. Because even Real Madrid last year, with all their problems, the one thing Ancelotti managed to do was mould a side that was still defensively quite solid.
Yep.
Right? And then the rest of them would go off and do what they did best. Barcelona, I just don't think have got that in the makeup. So, you know, apart from the problems with registering players and having to sell players, they still have not addressed this hugely important role in front of the back four. And until they do that, I think they're going to be open to a lot of teams in this league, home and away.
Well, let's take a look at your predictions then. I imagine you're not going for Barcelona to win La Liga?
No, I've gone for them second, to be fair. But, you know, it could be a close one with Atleti, who obviously have signed a few players. You just never know with them. They're a hit and miss. Could be brilliant, could be average. And I've gone for Real Sociedad at a side I always like watching. I've gone for them in fourth. I've gone for Mbappe as the top scorer, but I couldn't convince myself. Even though he's top scorer.
Right.
My yearly
Vinicius.
annual Vinicius Junior is going to win the Player of the Year, come what may.
Well, you were wrong last season. Maybe you'll get
But he
right
should
this.
have done.
No. Bellingham was Player of the season, wasn't he?
He's my annual Player of the Year.
Yeah, indeed. Stuart Robson, what's going to happen in La Liga? You're in Spain, you know.
I think Real Madrid will win quite comfortably. I think everybody would say that. I've gone with Barcelona coming second because despite all their problems, they'll still bring kids in and the kids will do well and they'll still be a very good side at times. They've still got their defensive issues as well. I've gone with Atletico to come in third place, and I've gone with Athletic Club because they won a trophy last year. It might give them that bit of confidence. They've still got Nico Williams. I think they're a much better side than they were last year. And I'm going to go with Kylian Mbappe to score the most goals. And like Craig, Vinicius Jr. to be the man who creates most of them and be the top player in the league this season.
Never had him down for copying, did you?
No, yeah, but you know what Robbo's like.
He switched out
Lazy.
Athletic Club and Real
Lazy.
Sociedad
That's
tried
it.
to make it.
Jules, Real Madrid to win it all?
Yeah, Real, I think they can even go the whole season unbeaten. I don't think anybody will come close. Then I think I've got Atletico Madrid in second place. I like the Julian Alvarez recruitment. I think they overpaid for him, but he's such a Simeone player that I think that's going to work out really, really well. And the whole recruitment really, plus I don't think they finished like Luis Garcia said earlier, whether it's Javi Guerra or Conor Gallagher, but there will be even more body in midfield. So I like Atleti. Then in third, Barcelona, of course. And in fourth, I went for Real Sociedad. I like the signing, Sucic, I like Javi Galan, I like Gomez too. And I just like the idea, their style of football, what they do in there, the link with the fans, the community, everything. So I really hope they can have a really good season, finish fourth. The only thing I would say about Athletic Club de Bilbao is that the Europa League, which they're in, the final is in Bilbao, and I think for them that it will be the main focus. They really want to reach that final. They really want to have a chance of winning a European trophy at home at San Mamés. So I can see them having almost more focus on Europe than in the league, and that's the reason maybe I've got them just outside of the top four. And then Kylian and Kylian, obviously.
Of course, Kylian and Kylian and Kylian.
Well, I've got a feeling it's going to be...
Jules,
Jules, I've got a feeling we're going to be hearing a lot of this Mbappe loving this year.